Hello, friends. Welcome back. UFC recap, event recap. We're going over UFC Vegas. It was a fucking fantastic night of fights. We wish you were there if you weren't there. In other news, too, we had the greatest Smoky Hours fight companion to date. It's all because of you guys, really. It means more to me than you could possibly know, honestly. The stream was popping. We had multiple people, fresh faces, old faces, old friends, new friends, fantastic experience. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. Hope maybe, a little community's now building here. It's going crazy, man. We are growing here, and really it is all because of you guys. So I'll start off the video with a thank you. Thank you very much. We'll give some shout outs later to all the new supporters, all the new members of our little family here in the corner of the internet. But without further ado, we'll recap some fights first. Like I was saying, fantastic night of fights. It was spooky hours, man. I went a little crazy with the first two picks. Didn't do the best on this card. Didn't do absolutely horrible, but got some picks wrong. Went 6-11. It is what it is. Picked multiple underdogs. There were an insane amount of finishes. Also, finishes consecutively. I want to say like the first 6 fights ended in finish. The first 5 fights ended in finish, and the 6th was a decision, and Paul Felder was wishing for that decision if you were paying attention. He was like, I hope that we have a decision. I hope we see a fight that goes the distance. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Without further ado, though, starting off with the first bout, Melissa Mullins versus Claudia Segula. This is all me. I was duped into reading the record of Claudia Segula, seeing that she had an extensive amateur record against, and the losses that she took as an amateur were against seemingly very skilled Polish women also in the amateur scene. That couldn't be further from the case. Claudia Segula can't fight. She's dog shit. She's a lot worse than Melissa Mullins. Melissa Mullins, she had a bad outing last time, and I was giving her a lot of shit for it. I maybe might have been a little bit too harsh on her because if there's Melissa Mullins, she might not be great at fighting, but she knows how to fight. She can fight. Melissa Mullins can actually fight. She violated Claudia Segula. Claudia looked like a fucking victim. She got brutalized. I was coping insanely. I was almost on the verge of tears. I was beside myself at that shit. That was really rough because I really was very confident in Claudia Segula. Now moving on to Tresean Gore versus Antonio Tricoli. This was one that I was pretty confident in Antonio Tricoli. I thought even though he got finished by Shara, he made Shara lose stock in that fight. That means something to me. Tresean Gore, pretty gifted athlete, but very green fighter. Very green fighter. The one thing he does have going for him is that the overwhelming majority of his experience has been in the UFC. I think all but one of his fights have been in the UFC. And so that's real good experience. He smoked Antonio Tricoli, though. He smoked him bad. He smoked him fucking bad. He tapped the shit out of him. It was real rough in round 1. We had two, the second one came in round 2. Going back, actually, to Melissa Mullins versus Claudia Segula, I thought it was going to be okay. Until the first takedown. The first takedown was so effective, I was just like, God damn it. But there was only like a minute left. There wasn't that much time left, so I was like, all right, Melissa takes that round. That just can't happen again. And then roughly 10 seconds into round 2, she gets taken down in the same easy fashion. It was easy work. Just slammed her to the ground, tripped her to the ground, and violated her. Claudia Segula is a professional victim. Not in the way that you might think of it, that we refer to like people who cope, super sensitive people online nowadays. I mean, like, she is paid to not even be a punching bag. She's paid to get finished. She's a fucking victim. We will never, ever support Claudia Segula on the channel again. Moving on to the dude that actually brought me back, and I was calling it, Damon, the monster Blackshear versus Cody Stamann. Now, Cody Stamann is no fucking walk in the park. That dude will violate you if you are not ready. But Damon lives up to his name, man. And I think at this point now, or I'll say right before the Cody Stamann fight, his record is unbelievably deceptive. He is not his record, really, on paper. He is extremely fucking skilled. He has power in his hands, a very competent striker, but really his grappling is lethal. The dude is a lethal grappler. He follows you to every position, beats you there, and he goes for subs, which is what I like to see. I had called Damon Blackshear to win this one by round 2 submission. He got it done in round 1. After what looked like it might have been a tougher fight for him, he cracked Cody Stamann, followed him to the ground, tried to finish him there, couldn't, almost tapped him with a broody one-arm mounted guillotine. Cody was like chilling though in it. He was like, I'm good. He told the ref literally, I'm good. Like, flipped over. Damon started attacking the neck, and you could see the moment where the choke was on the chin. It was a crank, and then it literally slipped and locked under the chin, and it was over. And Cody actually survived like an extra 10 seconds after that, so fair play to him, and he didn't go out. That was a good fight for Cody Stamann. Better fight for Damon Blackshear. He got a bonus for that. I think that was a much-deserved bonus and a great way to get back in the win column. Damon Blackshear, fucking shout out to you, bro. Congrats. You are way better than your record would maybe lead someone to believe, and I think there's big things ahead of you, brother. You are one of my favorite fighters right now. Moving on, Chuck Buff, Charles Radke, Charlie versus Matthew Semmelsberger, Semi the Jedi, man. This was a rough fight because Matthew Semmelsberger is one of those dudes that he's a tweaker, he's finishable, but he himself is very dangerous. He's a very hard hitter, a very big dude. Chuck Buff, though, also does have different power, and he's nice. He fucked up Matthew Semmelsberger. Some people might say, I haven't seen this, I'm just putting it out there. Some people might say, oh, that was a bit of a early stoppage, maybe. I don't think so. I think that was a completely justified, valid stoppage. Matthew Semmelsberger got saved from literally being knocked unconscious. Every shot that Chuck Buff was landing was literally rock either wobbling at the very least or completely, like, discombobulating Matthew Semmelsberger. You can see the last ones. His body goes limp. He fell forward. He fell face forward and just caught himself. Like, came back at the last second to catch himself. But he still fell. Got dropped. Bad. Great finish from fucking Chuck Buff. Moving on. This is another one that I think that everyone saw this coming. Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos versus Zach Scroggin. I was saying mainly, and it kind of was what I was predicting. Respect for taking this fight. Dos Santos is a dude that you cannot really take on short notice. It doesn't matter his age. He's such a fucking dangerous and skilled fighter that's a dude you really need to train for. You can't just hop in there, short notice, try to kick the door down and fight him. No, you're going to get fucked up. Zach Scroggin got fucked up. Just really got pressured. It seemed like Zach Scroggin wasn't necessarily as hurt as maybe he could have been, but he just got completely overwhelmed, and I think when he was on the ground covering up, he was waiting for a break in the action that never came, and it ultimately ended in a finish. Fantastic work for Zaleski dos Santos. Moving on, Denise Gomez versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I actually went with Karolina Kowalkiewicz in this one. I was a bit of a tweaker. I actually don't remember this fight too well. Denise Gomez versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but Denise won. So we're just going to leave it at that. We're going to move on. Oh, this was spooky, actually. And he got a well-deserved bonus. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dusko Todorovic. I had a very spooky feeling about Dusko. I almost wanted to switch my pick to Dusko. I wanted to initially pick Dusko, but reason being, actually, is because I thought the experience that Dusko had, it would show a lot more in this fight. Mansour did not even give him the chance. The dude came out like a fucking beast. Looked shredded, looked jacked and powerful as hell, and he fought like a beast too. He violated Dusko, unfortunately, battered the fuck out of him. It was a super long sequence, long finishing sequence. Dusko was trying to survive, trying to get away. He couldn't. He could not. Mansour picked up a great first round finish and a little bonus to boot. Moving on, Jillian Robertson versus Luana Pinheiro. Jillian the Savage Robertson, man. She's the fucking Savage for a reason. She is very skilled. She was beating up on Luana Pinheiro on the ground. It was fucking fantastic. It was a fantastic bout for her. Jillian Robertson, easy. That's a common Jillian Robertson W. Common Jillian Robertson W. Moving on to a fight that, even though I picked it incorrectly, good for Gaston Bolaños. We're talking about Gaston Bolaños versus Cortavious Ramos. Gaston Bolaños, my Peruvian brother, shit the bed completely. Not shit the bed. He didn't shit the bed. I take that back, actually. He got given a extremely tough second fight in the UFC versus Marcus McGee. He ran into Marcus McGee. There's not much you can say about that. Gaston, most people know him for being a pretty lethal and spectacular striker, actually, but his grappling is his weakness. He was able to survive against Cortavious Ramos, though. And that was the thing. Then he started piecing up Cortavious at times, had him on the run. The striking really was the difference here, actually. Gaston Bolaños' grappling even looked improved on the ground, where he was able to get up a couple times from Cortavious on top of him. Cortavious just really, skills-wise, didn't seem as good. He looked insane physically, but again, good for Gaston Bolaños. Good to get back in the win column. It's kind of good to have a dude like Gaston Bolaños stick around because he will either give you spectacular wins or he will be finished in spectacular fashion. I personally believe that. I'm rooting for him to win, but He did win that one by unanimous decision. We move on to another underdog pick that I got wrong, but it almost came through. It's strange. This is a bit of a fraud check. I still believe that it is a fraud check. I'm not alone in saying this. Rainer de Ritter versus Gerald Meerschaert, GM3. Low-key GM3 I thought was not beating his ass, but getting the better of him in most exchanges. That was the thing. Getting the better of him in most exchanges. I don't know what's good with Rainer de Ritter, but he looked like chinny as a motherfucker. Every time GM3 would land on him, he would actually be hurt. He would be wobbled, fucked up. Granted, he does have heavy hands, it seems, because every shot that de Ritter would land on GM3 would be fucked up. And even you can't ignore this. GM3 got dropped so fucking badly at the end of round 1. I think it changed the fight. I think if that doesn't happen, GM3 wins this fight. That's straight cope. But he got dropped with a monster combo, a monster sequence, right at the tail end of round 1. So I was saying some refs would have stopped the fight there. They actually would have stopped the fight. But fight goes on. De Ritter eventually gets an arm triangle choke, and it was very tight. It was very tight. The grappling exchanges were crazy. That was a great fight. A great fight for both dudes. But de Ritter, I think, will lose some stock. Like, if de Ritter goes against someone who is a striker and just can, like, keep de Ritter off of them in terms of grappling, I think it's going to be over for him. It's going to be fucking over. He's going to get knocked out bad. Moving on to the main event, and it fucking delivered. Carlos the Nightmare Prates versus Neil the Haitian Sensation Magny. The nightmare never ends. The nightmare never ends when it comes to Carlos Prates. Man is out there smoking bogeys and smoking ranked competition, smoking everyone. It's fucking terrifying, man. It's terrifying. Dude got a bonus. He deserved it. Because Neil Magny actually was making the fight kind of, not like close, but I guess these are kind of Carlos Prates fights. Sometimes it doesn't start off as fast. Like, he just lands a one big-ass shot or a couple big-ass shots that lead to a finishing sequence. The scariest part about this one was he knocked Neil Magny the motherfuck out with a glancing blow. He was hurting Neil Magny right before that with multiple strikes, but the strike that finished Neil Magny, it was like a left hook. It like grazed the temple. It grazed like the side of Neil Magny's head, like his forehead, and it just flatlined him. It fucking flatlined him face forward. Like, it was crazy. He killed Neil Magny. He actually killed Neil Magny. It was fucking terrifying to see. They resuscitated Neil Magny in the back. It's okay. He's fine. But Carlos Prates is the fucking nightmare, man. You should think about this. Not only is the dude on like a 10-plus fight win streak, I think, but he is on a 10-fight knockout streak. That is, like, insane. That's insane. That's insane. All the while smoking bogues. I saw an absolutely hilarious comment. It was like, what are they eating in Brazil? And someone was like, cigarettes. They're eating cigarettes. That's what gives them the power. That's what gives Carlos Prates the power. But it was a great night of fights. Carlos Prates got it done in round 1. It was a spectacular finish to a spectacular card. The timing of this card felt weird. This card like ended like an hour earlier than the cards usually do, even a 12-fight night. And it's because there were so many first round and early second round finishes, especially consecutively. But the thing was, they ran so many fucking ads in between them, it actually felt unbelievably long. It felt like I watched less fights, which I did, because there were a lot of finishes, just in terms of minutes, fight time. But if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. It just was not the most pleasant viewing experience to watch 3 minutes of fights, then 15 to 25 minutes of ads, 5 minutes of talking heads on top of that, and then the next fight, another 3 minutes, 4 minutes of the fight. That was not the most pleasant, but again, that's nitpicking. That's like, we were treated with a lot of finishes. It was a great card in my opinion, fantastic card in my opinion, one of the better fight nights of 2024. Absolutely fantastic. I was saying this is the onion card, man. And again, going back to the live stream, thank you to everyone that pulled up. It was fantastic, man. Big shout outs to, let's see, we'll try to rattle off everyone. I should have written down people's names actually, but everyone is in my head. Do not worry about that. Big shout out to, I think, this man Mush. This boy, oh, well, I'm not going to call you just a boy, but this kid Mush, I want to say his name is Mush. Cat Eye called asking me to do the live. I told you I'm going to set up the gaming live stream soon. My boy was going through it. He was asking for advice. We gave him advice. Hopefully he takes it. He takes it well. Keep living your life, brother. Big shout out to PJ the Fighter. Young PJ the Fighter. I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. Was it PJ or TJ? PJ the Young Fighter out of Columbus, Ohio, brother. We're rooting for you this week. My man's got a fight coming up this weekend. We're rooting for him. Absolutely. Healthy training, healthy sparring, bro. Fight healthy, win the fight. And please let us know how that goes. And you better bring some footage back for us. I'm excited to see that. Big shout out to this dude, Mark, who popped in all the way at the end. Obviously, a gigantic shout out to one of the OG pillars. He's an OG of this channel. Johnny Depp, a.k.a. Bendover. You might see him in the chat. Also, big shout out to my friends Aaron, Danish, Jonathan for hopping in. They also helped the stream get popping. The stream really was popping this time. Thank you so much, guys. I don't know why, but the stream be popping more than the videos. I don't even know how that's possible, but it is. And I'm very thankful for it. I'm thankful for all of it. More streams coming soon. More content coming soon. We got big fights this weekend. UFC 309. At the Garden, at the hometown in New York City, at the Mecca of fighting. That's going to be pretty crazy. You can expect those picks tomorrow or Wednesday. I think that's pretty much it. Again, big shout. I want to give a hug. Like, this is a hug to everyone that pulled up to the live stream, for real, man, because I really appreciate it. Subscribe for more content. Like the video if you like the video. Smash the dislike button if you dislike the video. But let me know why. Leave a comment. Leave any of your thoughts. Just say what's up. Anything. If you popped up in the live stream, say what's up again, man. It was fucking phenomenal. It was fucking phenomenal. Thank you all. As always, thank you for watching. Much love. Big kiss.